All right. So, I heard through the grapevine that this is a game I needed to cover. I saw some of it, and I'm just going to tell you that at a certain point, I was watching a part of this game earlier today, and my girlfriend's kind of been trying to learn the game. I'm not pressuring her, but she like pays attention to stuff. She knows enough to make fun of my farms, okay? And she goes, "What's happening?" So this game is ridiculous. So we've got two really fun players to watch. Here in the blue, we have Jordan. And Jordan is playing as the Poles. Poles is a civilization where their villagers heal over time. They receive some gold when they mine stone. If they place their farms very specifically around their folwark, they get 10% of that food immediately from their farm. Now, I would be annoyed. I would look at this and I'd first say, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm so excited. There's so much gold and stone. This is perfect for Poles. But then I would look at this and I'd say, where on earth am I going to expand my farms to game? Like that could be a really big deal. The mining is almost blocking the farm space, and maybe that's going to end up being a factor here. In the red, we have Draken, and Draken is a really entertaining player to watch, and he's a player who always shows up to any game with a plan. And he's shown in T90 Titans League, for example, in the Gold League, that if he goes in with a plan, he can win against big names. He is in the top 24 for the next season after getting promoted, winning his group. Fantastic player. And the thing about him, too, is like in Titans League, for example, he was able to play on non-arena maps, right? Like, he's a guy who I think likes the more closed maps. I would think he benefits more from the closed maps. However, he can make it happen on more open. So I would consider this to be a mix of what maybe Draken likes and what Jordan likes in terms of maps. Because Jordan likes maps where you don't start with walls. He's like a lot of the top guys, they like the open stuff. But Draken, at the same time, he can wall with this. He can work with this. You could just place some palisade walls and make it happen. Now, something that's going to be a bit of a struggle for Jordan is like, he, like a lot of the open map players, might just think, oh, we don't start with walls. Let's go for a feudal age strategy. And then Draken is going to say, I've got double berries, I've got triple boars, and I've got 9 pigs, and I have outposts. Why would I ever consider anything other than a fast castle here? So it should be a fun game. I didn't really introduce Draken Civ. Draken Civ is playing as Draken is playing as the Slavs. And I want to start asking these questions a little bit more frequently because I read my YouTube comments, and sometimes it's cool to go back through them. Especially if I forget that I asked the questions. But I wanted to ask my eventual YouTube audience, when do you typically enjoy my content? Like, now don't give me any like sketchy responses, okay? All right, this is not an invitation to say like in the shower, wink, wink. But some people say, oh, I like to watch it on my lunch break at work. I like to come home and crack open a cold one and watch an Age of Empires 2 game. Just curious, like, do I fit into your routine? And you can say no, by the way. Okay, I understand. I upload a video a day. You might not be able to make it to every one. When are you interested in watching some T90 Age of Empires 2 content? And don't say when literally all other content creators are not producing content. Basically, don't say anything that's going to make me feel bad about myself. I don't need any more of that. Normally during REM sleep. Oh, thank you. Okay, well, that's not a surprise. You can't hurt me with that anymore. All right, well, don't fall asleep for this one, all right? Washing the dishes, okay. Draken's going to gold right now. Meanwhile, we've got Jordan. And Jordan was thinking about what to do there. Had created another villager, and now Jordan's going to get loom. This is what I would call standard. This boar, these sheep, they might as well not even exist for Jordan because Jordan's going to play this standard thus far, what typically works in his mind on this type of map. He's building up towards a barracks, so he might be thinking about scouts or archers. This is normal. And Draken correctly assesses the situation and says that is just not really the best strategy. And like, based on what we're seeing right here, right now, I think Draken walling and prioritizing some type of an FC, as we call it, is the correct play. Jordan, perhaps aware, though, that his opponent might do this. Uh-oh. It's suddenly not so standard. He didn't actually see the walls, but these guys know what the preferences are for the other. And that's why you have Jordan going forward with villagers. Got a mining camp on stone, so Jordan's going to go for a bit of a tower rush with some man-at-arm pressure. And then Draken also scouted the militia, too. So great job so far from both players. Draken saw the barracks, saw the militia. Should know exactly what's coming. Listen to your VODs while commuting or doing the dishes. I watch your content when my wife allows me. I watch most while working / washing the dishes. Wow. I hope you guys don't ever get dishwashers. I'm a teacher and watch you while grading T90. Ooh. I have a question. Can I grade someone's paper? Just one of them. The kid that's going to fail anyways. Can you let me grade their paper and then give them the feedback? Nah, actually, that could... I mean, what's a job, really? A job's not that important. If you get fired, it's fine. Right? I think it's worth it. Maybe not? Okay, probably not. Blacksmith here for Draken. And Draken is waiting for the market next. And Draken has thought ahead. And Draken realizes, I'm not going to have the food naturally. So I need the market to buy food to go Castle Age here. Some crazy pressure from Jordan. There's 3 men-at-arms, and there's also that scout. And that's one of what will be many future towers here, folks. So I'm not the only teacher to do that. Apparently not. Apparently not. What if you guys, like, what if you, like, had a late night of grading papers, and then you accidentally, just wrote something Age of Empires related on your feedback? It's like, the drush was awful. And then they're like, excuse me, what's a drush? I didn't see that in the textbook. Jordan is building tower number 2. Draken can only afford 1 tower for now, but Draken places the tower. And so far, so good for Draken. But I'm going to, air quote that one. You guys can't see me right now. But little air quote, because I don't really know how good it is. This tower is going to shoot Jordan's villagers. Nice thing for Jordan is villagers do heal up. So it's still risky. Look at that from Draken. So Draken actually buys 100 more stone. Forgive me, I'm actually going to need this in this game. There we go. So he bought wood. He bought stone now. Jordan able to keep that villager alive. And Draken wants Castle Age. So what does Jordan say? Jordan says, well, shoot, I'm stuck in feudal right now. We don't want this guy to make it to Castle Age. Players like Draken, they're so good with like siege spearman play, siege monk play. So you need to apply more pressure. And from what Jordan can see that his opponent has gold, but he also notices his opponent doesn't have easy wood access right now. Great work from Jordan. Lots of garrisons. And so far is winning the tower war. And now he's going to place another tower. What does Draken do? Draken sees this, knows this will be a concern, and places some stone walls. But Draken's 2 minutes away from Castle Age. So it'd be risky. And I love how Jordan's taking out the blacksmith, by the way. That's going to be so annoying later on for Draken. He doesn't need it right now, but when he does, he's going to have to rebuild it. And he might have to get those upgrades at a crucial moment. Yeah, look at Draken. He kept his scout alive, which a lot of players wouldn't remember. He's still got his golds. He's relocated his wood line now. And Jordan just wants to fully surround this guy. Now, he spent a lot on stone. And Jordan's still unable to click up to the next stage. Obviously something he's thinking about, but it is something he's going to have to ease his way into. We'll see if Draken buys more stone here. Yeah, he buys more stone. He actually is running out of stone to play the repair game. Must be really frustrating. Recently found you after I decided to go back in AoE after I was looking for new games on Game Pass. I've been working my way through every day, TTL every day after getting home from work, and it's been awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I didn't expect so many good stories, actually. But I love to hear from you guys here on the stream, but I also love to hear it from people who watch the YouTube later, so. All right, so this game is about to get bananas. So to talk about Jordan's perspective, he does not know what his opponent's doing, by the way. Jordan's got some good control right now. All right, he's going to place a tower here, which is going to deny another wood line. Problem is, if any type of like crazy pressure comes in on him right now, he has to decide on how much he invests into it, because Castle Age is something he wants as well. So occasionally, as you see Jordan trying to block this Vil, does block it, well played. Occasionally, you kind of get stuck where, like right now, Jordan's building up towards Castle Age resources. But we were going to have monks, and we could have some other things here from Draken if he can afford it, as Jordan's gone for some crazy quick walls. Draken's struggling on both sides to keep things together. But Jordan's struggling as well. As Jordan says, I'll just take out your tower, but decides better of it. Yeah, so Jordan's like, okay, Castle Age, Castle Age, Castle Age. This is really good. But now look how awkward it is to place farms. He probably should be farming here. And he's like, okay. Now, if you've never played against the high-level arena clown, in a situation like this, you're going to think you're a god, and you're in an amazing spot until you see the first monk, and then the panic sets in, right? So Jordan, this is a bit weird, bit of a weird response, but he only sees one monk, so he says, okay, we're going to make a spearman for that scout, and we lost a villager, and so now we're going to move out. So here he moves out, he's got just villagers. Now, sometimes you're too far gone. Sometimes you've overcommitted and you just figured might as well stay here. But look at the move from Draken there. Now, meanwhile, this is like all still happening. Draken's lost his wood line. We've got repairs from Jordan. Everything's falling apart, but Draken's back on his original wood line. And Draken did also end up losing his scout. Again, like, the main thing for Draken right now is can he get resources? Like, he needs wood. And he needs gold. And he doesn't actually need a ton of food. That's the thing. He actually has, because there's double berries, more than enough food without any farms. And he has plenty of Vils in queue. Draken has less TC idle time than Jordan does. And again, Jordan's like, Castle Age, Castle Age, Castle Age. But what does Feudal Age army do against this? Now, Jordan's going to place a little gate here, try and be fancy. Jordan, he knows Viper pretty well, so he's like, oh, it'd be fun to be like Viper in this game. That's not going to happen. And then he gets quick-walled over here as the Man-at-Arms dive in underneath the tower in TC. That's not going to happen. However, it is a lot of distraction from the main fight. And it's just going to get crazier from here. Thankfully for Jordan, his villagers do heal. Like, Jordan's sending villagers, and he's making spearmen, and he's just trying to throw anything he can at this. Because in theory, like, his opponent's economy is kind of constricted. And constricted economy shouldn't be able to do too well in the long term. Problem is, at what cost is this, what is this costing Jordan, I guess is what I wanted to say. Here, Jordan re-walls it this time so the villagers can't rush. Draken's distracted. These villagers are all stuck. And now Draken's like, I've got nowhere to go. But what he does have is he has scorpions, and Jordan, he hasn't had the wood to make a stable yet. Maybe it's something he should purchase, but he's going Spearman, which is not so good against Scorpions, and then Villagers not so good. And the Eco KD is looking good for Draken. He actually has the Vil lead. Monk goes down, but now there's a Mangonel here. And look, you've got Villagers trying to repair the Scorpions, but they don't have wood for it. And then you've just got more Villagers on the other side attacking the siege that is trying to be repaired by the other Vils. Draken kills his own Villager and Spearman there by mistake. That Mangonel goes down. It's actually working. And it's because Draken doesn't have wood. He does not have good wood access at the moment. And that is why he's having so many problems. Look at how much he's used the market. It's crazy. So anyways, like, things settle down a little bit. Jordan's economy still is not really the most impressive. As he's lost villagers again, as we've said. Draken is trapped Jordan, at least temporarily, so that villager's gonna die, right, like his buddy did underneath that tree. And then here, we have, villagers, monks, all that. Jordan will kill one villager. Actually, he's actually not gonna kill the villager. He's gonna kill the monk because the monk is healing the villager. But it took Draken a while, but he's finally got a freaking lumber camp. So he's at the limit. And now you've got Scorpion here trying his best to get over here and kill this. Problem is Scorpions and Mangonels have minimum range. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking when you're watching this game right now, but this is just not a game. Not a normal game. But it is an interesting one. Because even though the KD's quite decent for Jordan considering what he's been using, he's still feudal age right now. These two villagers are just hanging out. Jordan's going to drop a tower there. He's got these villagers here. Double tower on the wood line. And look at what Jordan can see at the moment. Draken's not going to have it. Draken's like, no. Stop it. But look at Jordan's vision. He can still see his opponent can take Golden Stone. Now, Draken has a couple decisions he could make here. So he could go... If he wants to go siege, he probably needs to sell stone. But if he feels like he can get enough army without selling the stone, he could eventually turn this into a massive castle drop on Jordan's face. 46 villagers versus 37. Jordan, he's still struggling to get that farm count that he needs. And he's also using the market. Like, the prices for these things, like buying, selling, are all over the place right now. This tower, though, like one villager building that tower with two villagers battering it down, the tower's not going to stay up for too long. But honestly, that tower's amazing because it's killed a villager already, and I'd say that's worth it. Also, he's sitting over here with villagers. Like, something I want to bring up right now about Draken's position is Jordan kind of played himself here because Jordan made walls around the monastery. And now this Scorpion is protected. But the thing that Jordan's doing really well is the clown players, they want to mass siege, mass monks, and they need a critical mass for it to work. So even though it's not pretty, he's still lowering those numbers. And then also, siege and monk is super micro-intensive. So it's something that you need to look at all the time. And so doing this takes Draken's focus away from it. Like, look, right now, Draken has not even reacted because he's had to deal with this. He'll find this out, but then he's also been dealing with this. But guys, Jordan doesn't have good farming eco. There's just not good space for it. The folwarks are big and fat, like my cat. And it's just not an easy situation. So if he wants to buy food or buy anything, it's going to be expensive because Draken's been doing it all day. And Draken's going to make more monasteries here. And Draken still is the vill lead. Is that going to continue to be the case if he stays here next to this tower? Probably not. Is it something he's going to realize? You would assume so, yes. Remember, Slavs have cheap siege. We now have, what is that? Going to be 6 Scorpions soon. And more monks are on the way. Could have more monks on the way. Draken has now realized. And Draken, look at the HP on his villagers. He's just like, where do I go? And here he comes with the Scorpions. Now, Jordan has focused a bit more on his food eco. And he's added a stable. So he's going to make scouts. But he really doesn't want to lose this town center. So he's going to send villagers this way. Into the TC he goes. That villager's going to get killed by Draken. Meanwhile, these villagers are just going to run over to this gold. Now, from Jordan's perspective, he's going to lose his TC, but he can also see that there's villagers there, which is going to be interesting. He just saw all the villagers leave. In fact, he just walked right underneath Draken's TC. There's nobody home. The whole village is pretty much gone, so he's just going to drop another tower here, which is good, right? Now, I think Draken, it's hard to say that, like, he's focused on trying to take out the town center right now. And he's focused on this, too. But I really think Draken probably should have battered this one down, because it doesn't have walls around it. 49 villagers versus 44. We have 6 clumped up Scorpions. How do you deal with clumped up Scorpions? A lot of players in Jordan's position right now, as the villagers fall to their deaths, they're going to go after the siege ball. Let's see what Jordan does. He's waiting right now. Jordan, his TC's halfway down to Scorpions, and now the Mangonel, the real TC killer, shows up. And Draken's got monks. And Draken is, I think, sensing that there could be scouts because Draken is also adding a few spears. Now, all clowns look at is this, because if they lose this push, they die. So it's like, I shouldn't say all they look at, but it's a very serious thing. And so now Draken realizes, a little late, just like the tower situation, and now he says, screw it, I'll just send everything right to the same spot in the map. The guy actually doesn't have the gold to buy wood for a lumber camp, though, so, like, he's at the limit. And Jordan is still being as patient as possible. He did actually try and place a gate here so he could block off more siege showing up. But look at this army! Oh, Jordan hit the gate, so now the Mangonel gets cut off. Jordan shows up with one scout and snipes a monk. That's nice. But Jordan now has no town center. And this is where things get awkward. So Jordan's like, I don't have an answer to the spearmen. Let's use villagers. Look how effective the villagers are actually are against these spearmen. And so as the spearmen are starting to go down, Jordan says, I guess this is what I have to do now. And shows up with his scouts. Meanwhile, you got this weird ball of monk villager siege in Jordan's base, and he has no town center. But guys, like, the spearman number isn't there for Draken, and he finally got to a situation where he could have everything on wood and everything on gold, and now Draken has to fight this back with Vils. He's got the villager lead still. However, it's very difficult to maintain a push, repair your siege, and also fight with villagers. I mean, fighting with villagers is already really annoying. So let's actually look at the worker efficiency last minute for both of them. Look at this. The bottom left. I don't know if I've ever seen someone drop below 10% in a cast before, but it's gotta be getting close. 10.1%, 9%, 8%. Jordan's at 30 at least. And that attack was massive. I'll go back to this now. It shows the eco KD. But still, Jordan hasn't engaged against the siege ball. So if the thing is, Scorpions destroy scouts in these numbers. Scouts really don't have a chance unless there's like upwards of 15, I'd say. But Jordan still has to somehow buy time. He's going to use these monks here, or scouts here, excuse me, to kill monks. He does end up losing a scout. He might end up even losing another scout there, and he does. The 35 population for Jordan, who has done so much well in this game, has his opponent fully surrounded with towers. But still, I would consider him behind as he, you know, makes a town center. And he's got 11 farms. It's not like he's floating lots of wood. And it's not like he has the area to place more farms. But Jordan does show up here. And good attack grounding there from Draken. And you can see how fast the scouts go down. Now, Jordan does have Bloodline, so he has 65 HP. But still, that's a lot of siege. Jordan's going to click this scout here. Remember, these used to be his scouts, so he brings these scouts over here. I think it's just because he wants these scouts as far away from his base as possible. And Draken didn't completely finish this goal, but was really close to it. And he's thinking Jordan doesn't have a town center right now. And I think he also knows the scouts are coming from this direction, so I think he's going to try and loop around to find stuff. And he's going to use those scouts now. One relic for Draken. I mean, that's something. With economies that are this bad, that the gold coming in from that's going to be nice. And now, you know, Draken's going to try and rush down this tower. Now, he could just delete his palisade walls here, and that tower would be done. Draken says, you know what? It's booming time. I'm Slavs. I farm fast, so let's place more farms. And then he's going to place a TC over here, which protects wood and protects gold. Here's the scout for Draken. He's moved over, and he is still looking for that town center. And he's now found it. So he's like, great, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Unfortunately for him, he lost his villager, though. Fortunately for him, though, he's going to kill those spearmen. Jordan's still in feudal. And like, so Jordan has correctly acknowledged the situation and said, if I stop producing scouts, I'm dead. Right? Like, I need scouts. Because imagine if he didn't spend all that food on scouts, he'd have 0 scouts, but he might be on his way to castle. And then this TC would never stay up. So he would never make it to castle in the first place. So he's picking off reinforcements where he can. The only upgrade he's missing is armor. And I'm not really even sure armor is really a big deal when fighting against the units he's up against. This is also such a clutch play. A 1 HP scout sniping a monk. Draken's whole base is blinking. Jordan doesn't have a base. And whatever he does have is also blinking from getting hit by siege. Jordan wants to engage this. Now, tell me where Draken's looking right now. Look at this and tell me where Draken's looking. You think he's looking at home? Or do you think he's looking here? Pay attention to it. He does a great job producing villagers. He's always looking here. Always. Always. Immediately fires. Boom. Jordan just keeping him honest. Slowing him down. Jordan finds this, however. The Vil count is 35 for Draken. 31 right now for Jordan. And look at another clutch move from Jordan. So the TC will oftentimes, well, it'll always aggro one unit. And sometimes if you can tell which one that is, you can dodge some shots. That's amazing work from him there. Jordan actually has the Vil lead, and he's on TC number 3 in Feudal. Big Ball of Siege still looking for damage. I really think there should be less hesitation against the towers. So here comes Draken. Still got some eco over here. Jordan with the villagers that were farming here. Now going to drop a tower. But he does have food income, and he is still making scouts. Now this is just not, this is not the spot to farm Jordan. I know that there's not a lot of spots here. But maybe he wasn't expecting the push to come in. But like, this is not it, man. But it's become awkward for Draken because he can't reinforce with any monks in siege. And he can't even reinforce with spearmen that easily. Here comes Jordan from the other side. Jordan knows that this area is important to him. He's just invested in the farm. So clearly he's counting on holding there. Now Draken's going to be worried. It's honestly a big deal right now on if Draken can successfully take gold and if he can repair the siege enough to take down all the towers. But he should be able to. Another tower is going to go down for Jordan. The KD's close. The population's dead even. We're 45 minutes into the game. Jordan is still in feudal age. His tower's slowly picking away at some villagers there. Draken can see this. Like, he knows that this is... Oops, excuse me. There you go. He knows that this could become a big problem, so he cannot take a bad fight. Okay, Draken thinking about it. Is very hesitant, very scared. Now he's going to see that the scouts are here. Jordan's still only 10 on food. It's not that impressive. But he's going to change that now. He has to walk across the middle of the map to find an area for farms. He's got 19 scouts. Now it is currently with their eco setups a lot easier for Jordan to make 19 scouts than it is for Draken to be able to get to 3 mangonels and 6 scorpions and the monks and the spearmen. But look at the damage done. It's half decent, isn't it? But it ends up being better for Jordan, I think, again, for the reason I stated. Obviously, killing 19 units is epic. But, and still having, Draken still having some siege left, that's an exciting thing. But can he make more of it? It's the question. Well, during that, guys, he was battering down the tower, so he can actually take gold again. He still has wood. He still kind of has gold over here, but he wants this gold back. So he actually built the tower so he could shoot down that tower. He knows he needs to build up again. So here he comes. More scouts on the way from Jordan. He shouldn't be able to take out this mangonel. Micro's been good from him. He's kind of been able to add a few more farms than before. And now Jordan comes over here with a couple scouts out of nowhere. Really doesn't want his opponent to be able to take any gold. Now, Draken does not know where that town center is. And I think, like, remember, he saw all of this. He took out the TC here. He probably is not guessing there's a TC here. And with the score the way it is, and, you know, the way players tend to think, I think that Draken's thinking that Jordan doesn't have a TC right now. Which is why I believe he's actually just thinking, well, I have 2. So let me just not die to this scout rush right now. Let me fake an all in. And then if I'm just faking an all in and I eventually gain a Vil lead, I mean, I'm in Castle Age. My farms are awesome with Slavs. I'll have 3 TCs and I can win this game. So I think his outlook has shifted a little bit. And we'll see how he does with it. Jordan runs in with the scouts. Jordan still with more scouts on the way. Has 3 stables now. Jordan, look at that. Immediate from Draken. Immediately locked in there on those scouts. Like he's a bot. Draken goes for the farming eco, so he's not just sitting back. It doesn't have villagers working in that TC. And will need repair villagers. So this is becoming a little bit more questionable now because there's no villager here to repair these things. It's always so complicated to get these pushes right. Okay. Spearman will get picked off by Jordan. He's got upgrades. He's got numbers. Spearmen are a great unit to mix in, but because Draken's producing from the middle of the map, it's really hard for him to get everything together now. Okay. The KD at the moment is 109 to 111. And Jordan runs underneath the TC, and Draken's going to be focused here. He's distracted. This could all go wrong for him. He looks here. And it's also a great start to the fight for Jordan, I think, because he will take out all the monks, and he's still going to get an awesome engagement on the siege. They also killed villagers here at the same time. So the Feudal Age player has more vills and scouts OP. The siege goes down. Draken is now down to just 3 spearmen with 3 in queue and a dream. Jordan's still going to produce scouts at the moment. And from what he can see, he sees a town center. And then, well, he sees all of this. So his focus is going to be here now. Jordan does not have gold being mined anyways. He could obviously take everything in his own base. But he does have stone, which will bring in a bit of gold. Probably wouldn't make sense to switch to archers, because the opponent could always make siege. But you could always just continue to micro with scouts. I love how Jordan ended up farming. Like, it's such a weird situation. He is good farming eco in the middle of the map where the opponent's all-in push started. And he's also just mining stone there. Like, it's nothing. Alright, now Draken's thinking, well, my eco's okay. Let's make a kill unit instead of just a defensive unit for once. And he's going to go for knights now. Again, here come these scouts. It's a weak villagers because of all these towers. That tower has 1 kill. This tower has 1 kill. This tower 0. 0, 0, a 1. I'm trying to see. I'm a little surprised I didn't kill more, to be honest. About like 5 kills from the towers. All right, Jordan's going to lose that villager. Jordan has to abandon these farms. 39 villagers versus 47. Jordan's still making scouts. Draken's farming eco is great. Slab farms work faster. I think I would probably prefer to have... I'd prefer to have the pole farms in a game like this where you're not going to be raided. In fact, it doesn't really matter on the Civ. I just don't want my farmers to be raided, right? Jordan's going to have to really pick it up, though. Now, remember that time where Draken didn't have a blacksmith because it was taken out by men-at-arms? These are the moments. Also, there was a market which got destroyed as well. So Draken has no market, and you'll start to see his resources float because of that. And he has no blacksmith at the moment. Jordan figures, well, he's got TCs, but if I just continue to run underneath them, how efficient are these villagers really going to be here? As his eco KD is about to hit 60. Also, did Draken lose a villager to a boar, maybe? I'm not sure why he has 61 villager deaths. And there's only 60 kills from Jordan. That's probably the only thing that makes sense. Actually, no, he did kill his own villager earlier with the siege. That's probably what it was. Jordan leans on the market to get more resources here. He continues his raids. These villagers are working for Draken. Draken's got 1 knight. He's got 2 spearmen. Knights have been dying to scouts out here, guys. And with no upgrades, and then also with the numbers Jordan has, looking so awkward for Draken at the moment. Now, the monastery is going to be taken out, so that's a relic you won't have. And Jordan's going to find a tower spot. Oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I don't know about you, but I used to play against AI, and I used to make scenarios that would make it impossible for the AI to ever win against me, and then I would feel really good about myself when I was like 8 years old. And I used to always place towers in woodlines like this, and I also used to do a bunch of other things with like bridges and basically choke points against the AI. But this here, guys, is an amazing tower. If he can get a wall behind that, that's amazing. Not to mention this one. Poor Draken. Look, Jordan's like, nope, not going to take this. Nope, not going to take this. Jordan's just waiting. And I'm sure from Draken's perspective, I'm sure it's going to be, it's going to feel like Jordan's flexing on you. Because you're getting surrounded just as you did at the start of the game. And Jordan is known as the better player. Like, I understand it feeling that way from Draken's perspective. And this has probably reached a point where Jordan could go Castle Age, right? But at the same time, I don't know if Jordan ever gets himself out of the situation and past that crazy siege push if he doesn't go all in feudal. Now, some of the villagers and the spearmen losses, maybe that you question a little bit, but this is just amazing play from Jordan. And look, he sees the blacksmith is going to come up because he sees everything. And he knows that the scouts have been trading pretty well against knights. So he goes in here with the fight. Going to drop another tower here just to be a pain. Draken's villagers garrison. Shooting at that. 0 on gold right now for Draken. And he obviously is going to need gold to push this back. The spearmen haven't worked too well for him. The spearmen are disconnected from his group. And Jordan underneath the town center with fully upgraded scouts is about to reach 75 eco kills. Still more scouts on the way. And these scouts as well, actually, are going to pick off what is left of these villagers. And Jordan goes up to 82 now. And now Draken is left speechless. He's completely surrounded. I mean, ugh. What a horrible feeling. And now he's like, just give me my market back. just please give me my market back. I really need my market. You killed it before, Jordan, with your towers and your couple scouts. You took out my blacksmith. I got my blacksmith. Just give me my market. And Jordan's like, actually, if you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. I'm going to just continue to run it underneath your TC because you don't have working eco. You don't have working eco here as Jordan takes a stone and gold, and you won't have working eco here. This is well and clearly over. Actually, Jordan could win this game if he continues to make only scouts and never goes Castle Age, which I think he knows at this point. But hey, he continues, and then Draken calls the GG. It was 1 hour and 3 minutes. Jordan ends the game in Feudal Age. That was a really cool game. That was a really, really cool game. Now, I want to give some credit to Draken because I think like so many players would have died. Actually, the big separator for me is the fact that he kept his TCs working way more than I thought he would in this game. Like if you go back to the mid game when he's going for that main push, he's almost always has villagers in queue, which is pretty crazy considering he didn't have a lot of farms and didn't have a lot of space. Normally those pushes have 0 food eco. But, you know, Jordan realized, like, if I let this push get out of hand, if it gets to a big enough ball, I'm going to have problems. And my best opportunity, my best answer to this type of push is to stay in feudal. Now, he had so many clutch little movements. The 1 HP scout on the monks here. Picking off the spearmen as they try and reinforce. As Draken goes for the main fight, going to this wood line or this wood line. But, like, yeah, it was a really cool game. I wanted to show you guys this. Again, at one point, I'm watching this morning, and my girlfriend, who's trying to learn the game a little bit more, goes, what's happening? Like, who's winning? And I was like, wish I could explain it to you because it looked ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it must have felt satisfying from Jordan's perspective to get the full surround. I'm sure Draken felt a little flexed on, but truthfully, maybe until like the last couple minutes, I think Jordan was just trying to make it messy. He certainly made it messy, and he ended up winning the game. More wood and more food collected for him. You can tell Draken relied heavily on gold that game, and it was a fun one. Love me some Mega Random, man. I'd love to cast more games from the highest of the high on Mega Random, so I'll be keeping my eye out for that as we go forward here over the next couple weeks.